There once was a girl named Amina who lived on a hill of light in a warm African valley where the river moved slow and the mango trees leaned toward the sun. Her father, Chief Karim, was the richest man for many miles. He had wide fields, many traders, and a house that shone like a small palace. Amina had silk for her hair, shoes that glittered like coins, and dolls carved from bright wood. Servants cooked her favorite foods, and guards walked beside her. Yet Amina was never satisfied. When her friends showed new toys, she wanted better ones. When her cousins wore new dresses, she wanted more and louder dresses. Her room was full of things, but inside her chest, she felt a small, quiet room that never filled. One year, the valley held the great harvest festival. Drums spoke the heart of the land. People danced under the baobab tree, and smoke from roasted maize curled like small clouds in the blue sky. Amina came with her best dress, expecting everyone to look at her. But instead, she saw children playing with broken toys and sharing roasted maize with laughter that sounded like bells. Their clothes were old and patched, but their smiles were bright as morning. A small boy named Tendo ran up to her. His feet were dusty, and his hands had a story in every scratch. He offered Amina a roasted maize cob with a shy smile. Amina laughed and said she had servants who would bring such food. Tendo smiled without shame and said, "Why be sad? The sun is warm, my friends laugh with me, and my mother sings at night. I have enough." That answer was a pebble in Amina's heart that made a ripple. That night, she could not sleep. She kept hearing the small boy's voice. "Isn't that enough?" The next day, Amina walked alone to the river, thinking of the children and the laughter. She did not notice a loose stone near the water. She slipped and fell into the cold river. The current pulled at her silk, and she could not find the bank. She screamed. Her servants were far away, and the crowd at the festival could not reach her fast. Tendo heard the scream. He did not think of his torn shoes or his small body. He ran to the river without fear. He jumped into the water and fought the strong flow until he reached Amina. He pulled her to the soft sand of the bank. They lay breathing hard, water running from their hair. Amina looked at the boy who had saved her and could not find the right words. "Why did you save me?" she asked, shivering. Tendo answered simply, "When someone needs hands, we give hands. When someone needs a heart, we give a heart. I had no coins, but I had courage." Those words struck Amina like warm sunlight. Her fine clothes were ruined, but her heart felt less empty. She rode home that evening, not in her father's large carriage, but in a small cart beside Tendo, until her servants found them. That night, Amina could not stop thinking of the festival children, and the way Tendo smiled at the river as if the world had given him a gift. She wanted to say thank you to Tendo, and she wanted to change. At sunrise, she asked her father for a small bag of coins and permission to go to the market by herself. Chief Karim was surprised, but he loved his daughter and said yes. Amina walked through the market and did something she had never done before. She looked people in the face and learned their names. She bought fruit and beads and small carved whistles. She bought a blanket for Tendo and simple toys for the children. She did not buy silk or shiny things. She walked back to the village and sat by the fire. She listened to old stories from the elders and learned how they saved water in the dry season and how they made little gardens with care. She helped teach letters under the mango tree and shared her books. When a small hut lost its roof in the rain, she gave her silk to cover the hole, even though her friends at the Hill of Light would whisper that she was strange. The whispers did not matter to her. What mattered was the light on the faces of the children when they had dry clothes or a new blanket at night. Amina's heart grew warm with giving. She found joy in the faces she helped, and the village gave her something she had never had before. Friends who loved her, not for what she owned, but for who she was. Seasons turned, and a dry time came when the rains stayed away. Crops withered, and people worried about water. Chief Karim had many stores of grain. The valley around them had less. Word came that a neighboring chief offered to buy much of Chief Karim's land with promises of help and great money. Many of the old men in the town council said, "Sell and take the coins. The stores will keep us for the next season, but selling the land would mean neighbors lose their homes and the river will not run the same for them." Amina watched. She thought of Tendo pulling her from the river and the children who danced under the baobab. She knew what she must say. She walked to her father and spoke with a voice that was steady, though she was young. "Father," she said, "please do not sell our fields. Give the grain to the people who need it now. Keep the land. Help our neighbors so they can plant when the rain returns." Chief Karim was silent. He had lived by numbers and coins. He had never heard his child speak for others in such a firm way. He looked at Amina, and in her eyes he saw the change. He thought of the face of the boy who had saved his daughter without asking for anything. He thought of the songs of the village. He chose to feed the people, to share the grain, and to keep the land. Months later, the rains came back. The valley drank the long waiting water, and the seeds grew into green shoots. The village planted again, and their thanks was deep. They remembered the choice that kept them together. They told the tale of Amina and the Golden River for many years after. Amina kept living with less glitter and more quiet joy. She still had fine dresses and a house on the hill, but her wealth was different. She had slow afternoons sitting with the elders, learning how to plant seeds and mend a net. She had friends who sang with her and children who sat close to hear stories. Her father, Chief Karim, began to understand that a house full of gold might still be empty if the heart has no windows. He learned to walk with his daughter in the market and listen to the sellers. Sometimes at night he would sit by the fire in the village and tell children about the moon. One night, years later, an old traveler came by the hill and asked Chief Karim, "What is the greatest treasure in your home?" The chief smiled and looked at Amina. "The greatest treasure?" he said. "It is not the gold nor the land. It is the laughter of our children and the hands we give when someone needs help." Amina sat near the fire and knew that the small empty room in her chest had been filled with many lights. She understood that giving did not make her poor. It made her rich in a way that could not be counted with coins. The story of the girl who had everything became a tale parents told their children at night. They told it so the children would learn to look with kind eyes at the world and to offer their hands when someone fell. They told it because the people remembered the river and the brave small boy named Tendo who taught a rich girl how to be human. Now I will ask you a question, dear listener. What would you have done if you were Amina standing at the river? Would you have helped or would you have walked away? Tell me in the comments right now and share your answer so we can learn from each other. If this story touched your heart, press the like button to help more people find it. If you want more tales like this, Subscribe to Folktales BA and click the bell so you never miss a new story every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. Share this story with a friend who loves good tales. And if you leave a comment, I will read and pin the best answers. Remember, true wealth is not the coins you keep, but the kindness you give. A heart that gives is richer than a house of gold. Thank you for listening to the story of Amina and the Golden River.